Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome to the third Tex Murphy adventure game and the first of the interactive movie versions. This is the first one that really kind of like pushes the interactive movie side of things. Like, you look at Martian Memorandum, you look at Mean Streets, and they are more point-and-click adventures more than anything else. Whereas this, you have like more directed. You have actors, sets. This is still technology in its infancy. The Pandora Directive was a great step forward in making the technology work better. I believe in this version, like if there are two people in the same scene, usually like one person is moving while the other person is kind of like frozen in place. So there's certain aspects of the cinematography that were still kind of working through the technology available at the time. But they did what they could. And what they created was Under a Killing Moon. I've only played this game once. I played this game, I want to say, like probably a good like 4 or 5 years ago, just so I could play it for the first time. Of the Tex Murphy franchise, the Pandora Directive was actually the first Tex Murphy game I had played. I hadn't played anything prior to it. I had played a little bit of Under Killing Moon at a friend's place, but I hadn't actually like owned my own copy. So I didn't actually visit this game until many years later, after I'd already played through parts 4 and 5. So let's give this a go. See what kind of mystery is going on over here. Let's see. Start a new game. Player name is Nick. This is going to be the new thing for what's it called? The interactive movies is there should be. Oh, never mind.
It again, have they? I thought we'd taken care of it.
The forces of evil are persistent, sir.
I'm getting too old for this. Who have we got lined up to deal with this problem?
Murphy, sir.
Oh, no, not Murphy.
Afraid so, sir.
What about Spade or Marlowe?
Dead, sir.
Isn't there anyone else?
Sorry, sir, he's next on the list.
Well, I suppose we'll have to make do. Knowing Murphy, he's going to need help. A lot of help.
I'll check the archives and get back to you, sir.
You know, I forgot about the fact that James Earl Jones did voice acting for the game as the PI in the sky.
As the Second World War enters its final days, Allied forces are on the march. The troops of the Western Alliance are occupied with the dangerous duty of ferreting out the remaining pockets of Nazi resistance. The storming of Berlin has crushed the heart of German opposition and sent remnants of the Fuhrer's troops scurrying into the dark reaches of the Black Forest.
You know, I forget what World War II has anything to do in regards to the story of this game.
With Adolf Hitler dead and the once dreaded SS disbanded, the Allies have exposed the workings of the Nazi war machine and found it festering with ancient blood cults whose rituals and ceremonies are too astonishing and barbaric to detail. Allied forces will not rest until the last cult member has been revealed and captured.
Because, like, towards the end, like, it seems like it's starting off as a
No pestilence
sorry.
has ever been so fatal or so hideous. Blood was its avatar and its seal, the redness and horror of blood.
Like, it starts off with this presentation that you should be worried about a cult, but at the same time, the ending of the game is very science fiction, with you on a space station. Ah, they found the bird figurine. The cult of the bird. It's a very menacing title screen, I've got to say. The Pandora Directive, like, both, I remember both this game and the Pandora Directive have very specific title screens in tone. With any luck, if I ever get to playing Overseer, I will somehow manage to get it to run, but that's a problem future me has to deal with. Present me doesn't have to worry about it at this moment. Also, this is the only one of the cinematic versions that's been directed by Chris Jones, who also acts as
In the moonlight,
Tex Murphy.
New San Francisco sparkles like a chunk of cubic zirconium, an island of hollow beauty surrounded by a red sea of radiation. 5 million souls drowning in gamma rays. Some lucky people have a natural immunity to genetic mutation caused by the radiation. I'm one of them. Most of them live in the new city, but I don't. I live among the unlucky souls, the mutants and the destitute, and the wreckage of old San Francisco. My name's Tex Murphy. I'm a private detective. Or at least I used to be. Since my marriage hit the rocks, I haven't done much of anything. I went out tonight for the first time in a week, but all I ended up doing was spending the last of my money on a bottle of cheap bourbon. Now it's past midnight, and I'm staring out of the window of my office on the second floor of the Ritz Hotel. Just like me, the Ritz used to be something. Now it's just another grimy building in a rundown part of town. And I'm almost out of bourbon.
Although I approve of all of the jazz.
My God, Murphy, you look like hell.
Yeah, look how, like, Tex is kind of just frozen in place. And now that Tex is moving, the Colonel has frozen in place. Oh, now they can both move at the same time. It's kind of interesting how, like, sometimes it functions completely and then...
I forgot to take my Geritol this morning. So, you want a drink? I saved my first one to have with you.
No, thanks. I've been dry for 8 years now. Yeah, one morning I just looked in the mirror and decided I needed to make a few lifestyle changes. Quit smoking, quit drinking. Now I'm getting out of the business. Yep, I'm gonna move to the tropics and retire in a nice secluded island with a tribe of beautiful young women.
You're getting out of the business? I guess that means the end of the world must be around the corner because you are the detective. I can't imagine you doing anything else, especially not running around an island with a bunch of nubile women in a loincloth.
No, I can imagine it. I've been thinking about it for years now. Yeah. You know how
Also,
it is. Lonely. Underappreciated.
I noticed, like, his bottle of booze also kind of stands out amongst all the other objects. So I wonder if that actually was a physical object that for Chris to interact with.
Enough about me. How about you, Tex? How's life treating you? Bad as it looks?
Well, it depends. What day is it anyway today? Saturday? Well, Saturdays aren't too bad. It's normally Thursday by the time I get really suicidal. So what is it you wanted? Just come by to sprinkle a little salt into the open wounds of my pathetic life?
No, Tex, you got me all wrong. Nah, just because you turned me in and got me suspended and humiliated me in front of my peers. You sold me out. But that's all in the past. See, I quit hating you for that weeks ago. Like I said, I'll be leaving soon, and I didn't
I'll be leaving soon. Island of nubile women, loincloths.
Hey, don't worry about me. When you tossed me out of the agency, it was the best thing that ever happened. Digging through dumpsters and sleeping in abandoned speeders, you helped me learn a great lesson. Because no matter how bad things are, they can always get worse.
They can always get worse, sir.
I heard you were doing pretty well there for a while.
Yeah.
Did a hell of a job on that Martian memorandum case. What's your problem? You one of those people who can't live with success? Huh?
Well, I can live with it. I'm just afraid of commitment. Now, you tell me something.
I believe,
you talked to me 15 years ago. I was a stupid kid back then. Could have tried to understand why I told the ethics board what I did. I mean, I understand now that I was out of line and I made a mistake, but why'd you cut me off like that?
Because apparently you never learned the first rule of a PI. And never, ever betray your friends. Now, friendship goes beyond blood and race and politics. You gotta find out who your friends are, then you hold on to them. They're a precious commodity to people like me and you.
It's interesting how we kind of like skip from Martian Memorandum to
Your
here.
name mentioned in connection
Like,
with the case that I'm
Texas,
working on, and you stay out of it.
like
If you
Tex
don't,
has his
somebody's
own
gonna find
storyline,
something
working
big
for the
over your head.
agency, working for
I don't
Colonel.
need any more strain on my conscience.
You know, frankly, I'm pretty insulted. Because I'm a pretty damn good detective, and I can take care of myself, thank you.
I did solve some pretty high-profile cases.
Let's remember what I said, Tex. Got no idea what kind of people we're dealing with here. Just keep out of my way. I'll send you a
You know, I almost forgot how goofy Under a Killing Moon is, but Under a Killing Moon gets real goofy. The Pandora Directive has its moments of goofiness, but I feel it's more like cinematic goofiness, like the kind of like humor you might see in like a Marvel movie. And Overseer is generally very serious.
So last night, after 15 years, the Colonel walks into my office. Made me take a good hard look at myself. Maybe I have hit bottom, and maybe I do look like hell. Lord knows the only exercise I've had lately is tipping the bottle and flipping cards into my hat. I gotta find some work. Contrary to what the Colonel might think, I'm as good a detective as he ever was. Now I just gotta prove it. I'm gonna scare up a job today, even if it means finding somebody's lost puppy.
All right. Before we start moving around, I think it's interesting to note that we kind of skip a lot of storyline between Martian Memorandum and Under a Killing Moon. Like, the entire idea of Tex Murphy being in a detective agency never really comes up in previous games. So, I guess that would be an interesting backstory to fill in if there's ever like a prequel or something like that, but the jump from Martian Memorandum to Under a Killing Moon is a little bit jarring, considering that he seems like he's doing somewhat well, especially at the end of Mean Streets, where he's in the papers. And Martian Memorandum, I believe he does get some money from the case, but I believe most of that money is spent on the furniture here. And we are going to be immediately dealing with one of my least Day 1 Office. One of my least favorite aspects of the game, and it's not the repeating sound file. It is the movement. Now, this is something that's fixed in Part 6, the Tesla effect, where you have more typical first-person, like modern controls. But in Under a Killing Moon, Pandora Directive, and Overseer, you press spacebar to switch between movement mode and interact mode. You can only interact with objects in interactive mode. You can only move in movement mode. In movement mode, you can only move with your mouse. So it's very awkward. You press control to lower yourself, shift to raise yourself. If this was being played on the system it was made for, I probably wouldn't be raising and lowering so quickly. How do I... No. I believe there was a way to aim yourself too, like up and down. But I don't... There we go. How to tilt. Press the up or down key on the keyboard. Fantastic. Also, that is a lot of help thing, which is convenient, I've got to say. So let us... There we go, yeah. And now to the second thing. Like, one of the things that was interesting about the previous games is just clicking on just random objects and getting Tex Murphy's flavor text. And this is kind of like where Under a Killing Moon shines as a cinematic game. Under a Killing Moon, Pandora Directive, Overseer, Tesla Effect is because you get more cinematic reactions. Plus, if it's not a cutscene, then you also get Tex's reaction.
My gun. I love it so much.
He just loves his gun. Now, unlike Mean Streets, there are no shooting segments. Let's pick up this gun.
Old trusty sidearm. Been with me since the beginning. You want some of this, huh? Bam, bam! Hey, bam, bam, bam! Bam! Bam, bam! Bam! And you!
And right out the window.
Hey, Sonny, can you help me out? My girlfriend threw my gun out of the window. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just pick it up and, hey, don't point that thing up here. That's not a toy, you know. Oh, my hell. No matter how bad things got, I always had my gun. Now I've lost that, too. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those days.
But I think that's like that's a very important point, because like this basically establishes the fact that Tex Murphy does not fight his foes with his gun. In Mean Streets, he's just running around gunning down everybody. Whereas now it's like, okay, you've got an opponent, think about how you're supposed to defeat him.
The office was actually a dance studio before I moved in, and Latin dancing is a Murphy family tradition. Great-great-grandpa Murphy made it through the Depression by teaching cha-cha lessons to rich older women. He made thousands before the authorities found out he had no formal training.
The authorities who were paying attention to cha-cha training lessons.
The dusty credenza I've got serves only one purpose, and that's to keep the dust off the floor.
Oh, nope. Aim myself at Bill's.
Oh boy, mail.
You know, I'm trying to remember specific lines from this game, but I don't really remember this game quite as well because I'd only played it once. I'm just thinking of the Pandora Directive with the line, "That's another bill from the electronics shop. I can't even believe they expect me to pay for the junk they sell." Let's pick up this mail. Also, a point system, which the Mean Streets and Martian Memorandum didn't have. Grand reopening sale. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., the electronics shop will open its newly remodeled store and offer a veritable bonanza of bargains, dongles, fax machines, remote control toys, stereos, vidphones, doohickeys, thingers, whatchamacallits, and much, much more. Hold on. One of each in stock. Be sure to check out the unbelievable prices on our own line of dandy products. These products, of course, are not on sale. Remember to bring your electronics shop credit card. Cash not accepted, credit card required to enter the electronics shop. That is a very specific payment plan. And plan to stay late. You won't believe the deals. I don't believe the deals, and I'm not even there.
Mail.
This gift certificate entitles the holder to one free cosmetic job, nose, boob, etc., courtesy of the Real You Surgical Clinic. 30 minutes to a better you. That's, I believe it had a cash value of like 3 cents, so...
My phonograph's an old family heirloom. I love to play the classics. Kool and the Gang, Peaches and Herb.
Oh yeah, the classics. I think I've heard this in an elevator somewhere. Alright. That's the water dispenser.
This pure mountain spring water is indispensable, literally. I'm out of paper cups.
If only there was a way to solve that nightmare. All right. Let's look
Things
outside.
look pretty slow on the street today.
What do we got in the filing cabinet? Point myself at it.
This cabinet is where my old successes go to die.
Interestingly, only the top row, the top shelf can be opened.
Nothing here but nostalgia. Oh, great. Another incoming message that won't print out. If I don't get a new fax machine, I'll be out of business.
I believe I have to go to the electronics shop for that, but first I need a credit card.
Nothing in here but a stamp.
Ah, nope. Son of a... Oh my gosh. But that's okay, because I could use that stamp.
Stamp waits patiently to be licked and mailed.
I forget. I believe there is a puzzle that requires you to mail something, but it has been a while. That is a $10 stamp.
As usual, it's a mess.
This is true.
This here is my favorite desk drawer.
It's empty.
This is probably the only writing utensil that works in the whole office.
Fantastic. Alright, now let's look at what's on the desk. We've got Toxic Taste, a portrait of Sylvia, his ex-wife, from Mean Streets.
Hip-hop English keeps me up on all the slang kids are using today. My phone would work perfectly if it hadn't been disconnected.
My computer would be just fine if it was turned on.
Toxic Taste is a novel by Lou G. Trundle, the only mutant popular enough to make the New York Times bestseller list. Ah, Sylvia, my ex-wife. Whenever I think things can't get any worse, I think about her and how she totally screwed up my life. She's a woman who loves a man, anytime. I'll never forget the day I came home early and caught her with the upholstery man.
Oh, there you are. I just got done with the chair. I'll be sending the bill to your husband.
Oh, Rudy. Let's not think about my husband right now. I was watching you upholster and you're so big.
I was watching you upholster.
You really think so?
Well, yes. God, I've only known you for 10 minutes and I feel like I've known you forever. Oh, yes, look. And look at this muscle. Oh. The way you hold me, Tex never held me like this. Oh, kiss me, Rudy, and set my
I'm
lips
over
on
here.
fire.
Okay.
Oh, Tex, honey. I wasn't expecting you home so soon.
Well, duh. Obviously. Now I know why the Roto-Rooter man keeps calling and asking whether we need our plumbing checked. Well, I gotta admit, those chairs look pretty good.
Thanks. Listen, how about I don't charge you on the labor and we call it even?
Fair enough. But from here on out, Rudy, customer servicing doesn't include my wife.
See, honey? I saved you some money again. Aren't you happy?
Ooh, I saved you some money
married her for
again.
better or worse. Unfortunately.
Also, that was a
never got any
strangely
better.
cordial event. Like, everybody was very polite with each other. We've also got a copy of World War IV.
A dark and reactionary vision of the coming century by Rush Limbaugh III. I love murder mysteries. To be a fictional detective, everything would be so much simpler then.
Yes.
I love murder mysteries.
Yeah, that's very
To be a
nice.
fictional.
Some nice fourth wall breaking there. What kind of art we got on our walls? What kind of certificates? Did you have to complete out some serial?
CrimeLink computer is the only valuable piece of equipment left in
Oh,
the
yeah.
office. By entering suspect information like height, weight, and hair color, I can access the suspect's personal files.
So in previous games, he's had secretaries. In Mean Streets, he had a secretary. In Martian Memorandum, I think he had an intern. But in this case, he just has a computer. The software is registered to Alberto Smith. I'm looking for a Caucasian female. About there, no. With red hair, 2 eyes, green. Let's go for AB positive, size 9 shoe. It's over 100 of these ladies out there.
Spent weeks earning this baby. Best $20 I ever spent. The UI of U was the only place that would accept me. Half the course credit was earned by locating the university.
That's like one of those achievements you get by starting up the game.
This one really isn't art, it's a placemat from Taco Bob's.
You know, defining art in
This
such a
piece of art is
fashion,
called Two Whales on a Bender.
like maybe Taco, whatever his name is, could be considered
That
art.
hutch holds a life's worth of knickknacks, paddywhacks, and the world's largest piece of elbow macaroni.
And then we got our mess
Another
by
pile
the
of
bed.
garbage. There just aren't enough hours in the day. That's a perfect bed for a destitute PI. Small, lightweight, no sheets required.
Like, you don't have to
Well,
worry
since
about
the
changing the
building
sheets
inspector has only
if
one
there
eye and
aren't
no
any.
depth perception, the hotel manager painted fire extinguishers in all the apartments. It saved him a bundle.
That seems highly dangerous. Especially if he used flammable
I
paint.
call this painting the Big Spill.
Alright.
Ah, the closet door.
I believe... No. He gets money from this case, and that is used to expand his office for the Pandora Directive. Which is kind of interesting, because it still presents the idea that Tex lives in the Ritz Hotel, but it also allows him to have a slightly different office
All
to
I've
explore.
ever needed was a soft felt fedora, a well-tailored overcoat, and a comfy pair of sneakers. Some people know what they like, and they stay with it.
Who needs variety in their clothing? Let's step outside, see what kind of people we can meet, what trouble we can get into.
That's the door to the street.
Also, notice how there's no entrance door. Like, he lives on, like, the 3rd floor of the Ritz. And the fire escape was his main door. Tex Murphy, PI, dance instructor. He lives on the 3rd floor of the Ritz, but it's not until the Pandora Directive in which he actually gets
The air outside feels thick, like I'm breathing through a pair of dirty gym socks.
That does
It's a
not
high
sound like a good
radiation
thing.
day. Most everyone will be staying inside, but I need to hunt for some work. I always like to start the day with the traditional PI breakfast. That hits the spot.
Alright. Oh my gosh. Oh jeez. You know, this game was, the controls were made for like a slower PC, so there's certain elements of just moving around the world that are tricky, largely because of playing it on a newer, faster machine. And then there's his car.
Lightning bolt speeder. I still regret not getting the sunroof option.
Although I don't think I really have any place to go yet. I just have Chandler Avenue and then Tex's office. But let's walk across the street and talk to Chelsea Bando.
Chelsea keeps a well-stocked selection of magazines. I wish I could afford to buy a couple. Life hasn't been the same since my True Detective subscription ran out. Chelsea's a hot little number. I hear she's a mutant, but it doesn't show. The only weird thing about her is she won't go out with me.
That is incredibly weird. Nobody would have expected that.
Chelsea Bando's the kind that could hold her own with anyone. She has a way of turning my knees to jelly. She's a mutant just like everyone else in this part of town, but she's a real beauty.
I don't
Hello,
remember
stranger.
if that's ever explained. Like, what part of, like, what is her mutation, so to speak? Let's go with charmingly curious.
Tell me, gorgeous, has the new True Detective come in yet?
Yeah, but you gotta pay for it this time. Hey, when you finish a magazine, it is in no condition to sell.
Sarcastic retort. I'm not into the macho.
You're a riot, Chelsea. You ought to be doing stand-up.
But
No. Look, I do enough stand-up work right here. So can I help you with something?
And this is one of the things I enjoyed about, with Martian Memorandum and the following Tex Murphy games, is just being able to be like, okay, these are the things I know about, these are the things I can ask people about. In Mean Streets, you had to like flip through pages of notes in order to figure out like who you were supposed to ask people about, but sometimes it was tricky to figure out, okay, what was important to who. So just being able to just run down a laundry list and be like, hey, what do you know about Rook Garner, the owner of the pawn shop?
Rook acts like a tough guy, but he's a softie. Just don't tell him that to his face.
I don't think I would be allowed to tell him. Chelsea might be able to get away with it.
Oh, you know me, Tex. I'm just making ends meet. I love Louis, but his friendliness doesn't fool me. He's a sharp one.
Now,
He knows everything that's going on in this neighborhood.
Now Louis runs the restaurant down the street. Francesco Lucido. I forget who that is.
Franny's a live wire. Either she or Sal is going to do time for killing the other one. I have never seen a couple fight like they do.
Oh yeah, she runs the pizza shop. Her and Sal. And the pizza shop burns down between Under a Killing Moon and Pandora Directive.
Sal's a handful. He's a nice guy, but I don't know, I feel kind of naked when he gives me the eye.
And Ardo Newpop. I forget who that is. Does he run the hotel?
Luckily, Ardo seems to like me. I mean, if I were on his bad side, I'd be tempted to relocate. He could crush a Subaru with one hand.
Yeah, most people require two hands to crush a Subaru. This is true.
Wish I could help you there, Tex.
Because not everybody knows everything about everything. Alright, good talking to you, Chelsea. Let's see. We can't go into the electronic shop. That's a given, because we still need to get an electronic shop credit card. So, Day 1 Street. We can still visit, let's see, there's Rook's Pawn Shop. There's the Bruin Stew. That's where Louis works. There's Radiation.
Some of this devastation came from the Barney the Dinosaur Museum. No one was too upset when it became one of the first structures to get blasted in the war. Everyone refers to this stuff as Barney rubble.
I approve of its use of many, many puns. We've got the cable cars, bridges?
Francesca Lucido makes the spiciest pizza in the city. The only thing spicier than her cooking is her imagination. And right now she seems to have a thing for me.
It's so spicy. Let's see. We got a mailbox because we are going to have to mail something later on. We've got the Golden Gate Hotel, where the owner of the Golden Gate, or the doorman, has a thing for a very specific fire safety guy.
Yeah, looks like someone's locked the door.
There's the Acme Warehouse, which I believe has... I have to go in order to find a very specific criminal. I don't know what kind of flickering is going on right now in the game, or how to stop it.
I heard this newspaper box got destroyed right after Chelsea opened her newsstand. Coincidence?
Competition would not stand. There's the Coco Cabana, I
Great
believe.
old landmark, the Coit
Ah,
Tower,
the Coit
rises
Tower.
high above the skyline.
And let's see, what else have we got in the street? We've got
It's all locked up. The only way I'm gonna get inside is by using my innate cleverness or ingenuity, or maybe a key.
Rusty's Funhouse, where in the back there is a secret.
The Bijou Theater used to be quite a night spot. It was condemned years ago and could collapse any day. There's no way I'm going in there.
I believe the Bijou Theater gets remodeled for the purposes of the Pandora Directive.
On the top floor of this place is where I hang my hat. It's not much, but it's better than... well, it's not much.
Yeah, it's not even good enough to even describe. It's just that bad. Hello, weird artsy painting. Let's stop in by the Bruin Stew. Say hi to Louie. Oh, what are you?
Well, this is a section of the Bay City Mirror. It's a weekly newsletter that covers local goings-on written by mutants for mutants. I'd subscribe if they had a comics page.
Oh, okay. We got... The body of Thaniel Murray, 29, was discovered floating in the San Francisco Bay early yesterday morning. Spotted by passengers on a whale sighting scuttle, the body was recovered by police, then was sent to the city coroner's office for an autopsy. The cause of death has been listed as suicide, though bystanders report that the corpse was remarkably disfigured and contorted. Walt Grimm, a personal injury lawyer, followed the ambulance to the coroner's and reported that a quarantine was initiated not long afterwards. The reason for the quarantine has not been made public. Need cash? At Oregon Trail Clinic, we pay up to $50 cash for any and all vital organs. We also pay market rate for arms, legs, and eyeballs. Are you a lefty who's short on rent? Bring in that right arm. Must be removed on site to meet AMA requirements. Our friendly, qualified staff will be happy to sever that limb, and you'll walk out moments later with a few extra dollars in your pocket. Hurry in and don't forget to ask about our frequent donor program. You know, if the whole phrase, like, it costs an arm and a leg, doesn't really mean much if your trade-in value is basically a video game trade-in for GameStop. Haiku to a taco. Soft shell taco mine. What meat are thou concealing? Who cares? It's tasty. Truly, that is art. The total of inner-city pawnshop burglaries committed over the past 3 weeks now stands at 9. Zippy Cash, located at the corner of Jackson and Maple Streets, was broken into 3 nights ago. Pawnshop owner Urban Roby did not report the crime until this morning, thinking it was simply a practical joke played by his friends. Tragically, this was not the case. Of the 9 burglarized pawnshops, Zippy Cash was only the second not owned by a mutant. There has been some speculations that police are not actively investigating crime since most of the victims are mutants. Mayor Lender, who is up for re-election this year and will need the mutant vote to retain his position, has publicly called the police onto the carpet. Police Lieutenant Mac Malden, who I believe is a returning character from Mean Streets, and was he in Martian Memoranda? I don't think so. It's been a hot minute. Denies that the police are dragging their feet. What we're dealing with here is some kind of master criminal. He just hasn't left us much of anything to work with. Lieutenant Malden is sure that the burglaries have all been committed by the same person. The MO's methods of operation. Well, the modus operandi, which I guess means that a girl goes to a pawn shop, hawks a piece of jewelry for a large amount of cash, then the shop is broken into the same night. Lieutenant Malden would not specify, but said that his team of detectives has some evidence and hopes to have some solid leads within the next few days. Okay, I'll stop now, but because there really isn't anything that you really need to read there. And let's go say hi to Louie.
Bruin Stew, which is a local hangout. brew and stew is run by Louis Lamintz, a bloated mutant with a heart bigger than his waistline. Everyone comes to Louis' cafe. So does all the street talk. If something's going on, Louis knows about it.
What can I do for you, Mike?
Earbending.
Nothing for me, Louis. I just dropped by to chat.
Okay. What's on your mind?
Well, Louis, you're the grapevine around here. Anything interesting going on?
Well, now that you mention it, have you talked to Rook today? He might have a job for you. Someone broke into his shop last night.
Oh no! Rook has become number 10 in the pawn shop robbery business. Affirmative, but ambiguous. I'll be appreciative.
Thanks for the tip, Louis. I'll go see Rook right now.
Alright, let's go talk to Rook, see what's going on. He is right across the street, right over here.
Rook Garner runs this pawn shop.
There we go.
Rook Garner runs this pawn shop. He's a crusty old World War III vet with a face like a raisin and a tongue like a butcher's cleaver.
That is a lot of guitars.
What do you want, Murphy?
Obliviously conversational. I'll go with that.
Fine. How you doing, Rook?
I'm not in the mood for small talk.
Alright, I'll go with serious.
Fine. What do you want to talk about?
Let me tell you about my great day, Murphy. Last night, someone broke into my pawn shop. I don't usually have anything of great value, but yesterday, I gave out a fair amount of cash for an extremely valuable diamond bracelet.
I wonder if the person who's trading in the diamond bracelet, like they trade in the diamond bracelet at a pawn shop and then somebody comes in and steals it back. Just the frequent, like, release and catch. Not quite a catch and release, a release and catch. I'll try to be the professional PI. I'll go with investigative.
How much is a fair amount of cash?
In this case, $8,000.
That is a fair amount of cash.
I didn't know you kept that much cash.
I don't usually, but I sold a few things earlier, so I had just over $8,000. The bracelet was pawned by a young girl named Emma Nimpton. She said she hated to hawk a family heirloom, but had no choice. She said she would reclaim the bracelet in a month. Well, since the bracelet was worth 10 times the $8,000 I loaned her, it was a good deal for me.
So was he hoping that he could sell it for 10 times that amount? Or was he planning to sell it back to her for the same amount that she sold it to him?
I think you've been played for a sap, Rook.
Maybe. She left me a number and I called it this morning, but the line is disconnected.
So do you have any leads on recovering the bracelet?
No, the police are a waste of time, and I can't afford to hire a decent PI.
Offended, but looking for work.
I guess this means you don't consider me good enough to help track down the bracelet?
I'd appreciate your help. I'm not a rich man, but if you find the bracelet, I'll owe you a few favors, which could come in handy. Come back here and I'll show you where they broke in.
Rook takes me out back and shows me where the burglar broke in. The back window is busted out and the latch is ripped. It's a sloppy job. As I start my investigation, I'm looking for information to enter into my CrimeLink computer back at the office. One thing's for sure, Emma Nimpton won't be one of the suspects' names. Every PI worth his salt knows that's not my name spelled backwards.
Look, unfortunately, I'm not a PI worth any salt, so thank you, Tex, for explaining the joke to me. But I think this will be enough for tonight. Tomorrow we will try to carry on with the investigation. Also, I'm going to try... So far, I've done well with... I haven't had to break out any walkthroughs or guides. I'm going to try my best to avoid them. I will mention when I reach a point in which I feel it is necessary, but I will do my utmost to not hit that point. In the meantime, though, if you got any suggestions for something to play next, leave them down in the comments below. Would you kindly like and subscribe, and have yourselves a good night.